prominent, and one of them are and also Omugwa Homboasomoye. Rich, do you know for me now the update on Nico Williams? What I've been thinking, Rich, if you see where you're, whatever you do for I want to ye, it is any American Retimasia. Why do I say this? Okay, almost a month ago, Nico Williams was not in the picture. Barca through their media, and I'll say through their media because sport, Barca Pro Paper, Mundo Barca Pro Paper, there's nothing wrong with that. They put out certain releases that say, almost go over the chapter of Nico Williams. Now, almost Luis Diaz. Now, Luis Diaz boy in the company, you'll be free Liverpool because of Barca. Now, I want you to compare it to two things in the transfer market. One of the things that TF1 football fans don't realize is that in the football market, transfer market, you say, clubs add information at Trabonting to give them a good standing in negotiation. And they be Amaka. Everybody wants a stronger bargaining point when they are negotiating because a boy ma pay. Clubs will be honoma. Maybe I want to play a few maybe honum. Oba me wa. Na say yes oh. Who go get ticket crown on na so be free ha. Day for you to do negotiation, right? In the case of Barca painted a nice picture of the fact say players need now per Barca. So news about Marcus Rashford per Barca. News about Nico Williams wants Barca. Uti Luis Diaz per Barca. Uti Ivan Perisic per Barca. Because of course Barca are a big club and they've also positioned themselves very, very well. Rich. Niamami arrived at the conclusion that in this day and age, the most important thing any organization or anybody can do is about marketing. Say, when we say, oh, they are to joy and love and opa. No one to say, oh, even other TV stations are broadcasting football and other things. Which is say, a friend is saying, Super Sport, for example, hey, advert on Love FM.
If you fetch me,
yeah.
Facebook for no say when you call off into Lucy Yang. Me pam chance say back on Facebook and Shawan 4.5. And Timwana Mubusa say then you problem kakra with your machine and NMA a call off. But see there, obey me about Facebook in Shawan 4.5 now. Why enjoy showing?
Yeah.
Yentuaso.
Rich, me say marketing is the singular most important thing in BBB. Rich. Have you heard that Nico Williams essay or you're willing to reduce from the 12 million to 14 million and or Gio Athletic Bilbao to take as low as 7 to 8 million euros? Which that is almost half. Why? Opebasa. Adintia. It is because Barca are positioned in the right way. In fact, from PR, from Sporting, was last season, the success they had over there, and almost sounds where you should boy in now for 4 hours, Barca, including Lamine Yamal and the other Spanish boys, to drive it home. Which I won't be surprised that this plan was sat down in the Barca boardroom, and it was well chronological to make sure that at the end of the day they arrive at getting a branch of friend Nico Williams. I won't be surprised if 5 years, 10 years time, they could join Barca Jumano. Now, decides to release information of how they did some deals, and we get an insight on something like this. I won't be surprised. Which can you imagine? Say, not only is the boy willing to reduce on contract 7 to 8 million, almost say, Sebastian for Timmy Chai release clause. Now, don't any problem. The problem will be about registering him. Not the air day for them to register. The boy is willing to take extra pay cuts to pay 3 million, 2 million, 4 million for them to be able to register him and play. Yes. Have you asked yourself why Barca gave him 6-year contract? In some case, Todd Bowley must started 6 years, 7 years. It was rubbish. That's things that do not make sense. But there are two reasons why the 6-year contract came about. One, a longer period of time, Senegal Barca amortizes 62 million for him, no plus inflation, so that they can do that. Two, Senegal also Nico Williams, as the contract Barca for Nigeria say at after 1 year time, kakra Now Ebioma go back to camp now, and now they will be able to make sure say they will get some more revenue. You know, sometimes they can be increasing the salary going forward. Rich, I love the fact that Barcelona position themselves well. And although Athletic Club Bilbao as it stands now, almost Enshedan Kabibiano, still the advantages with Club FC Barcelona. And I won't be surprised say Barca will pay the money and then find ways to register Abrantia, your friend Nico Williams. They absolutely love him. In fact, and now there was a meeting between Deco and Abrantia friend Hansi Dieter Flick, and then they want Abrantia, your friend Nico Williams. Rich, Chelsea has to plan post Mudryk. I never thought say Mekas are the same way. And Mrena Swan, Chelsea are going to look beyond Abrantia friend Mihailo Mudryk. And the reason is simple. Say, you can't be found sample A. Near contested. Not say a positive. It is seen as preliminary. It's you know, Anna federations and your conclusions on it. Richardo. What they do is that they wait to come and take your sample B. Now, the sample B now becomes more like a control. Say, yeah, science can so because it be a controller. Like the placebo, and the honor, and no reaction beyond Koso honum. It's you see on the check so and pampa, say control any reaction in the NHS okay, at the end of the same reaction is okay, at the end of so the sample B is more like the control. It is sample anybody positive no. The Premier League will now go and take the sample B near Korane. So sample B no run as about positive. It means that now there is every reasonable doubt. Every reasonable reason say you better go forward with the case. Now lawyer for can say establishing a Premier first year case. No? Now English Premier League for say after the sample B has come, they now have charged him. Who's the initial no one charge no? Or man it's chain. Now I'm charge a branch friend Mihailo Mudryk, and possibly better actually for 4 years. Which and now Chelsea for any Mudryk any entourage didn't come. I've said this in private to a lot of people. Say in my own analysis. I believe that there is a geopolitical connotations around Mudryk and saying same way. And with what he won't come out of it. Almost everybody be charged with some of issues like this. The particular molecule is from Eastern Europe, Ukraine, Russia. And most of these Ukrainian players in this part of Europe no. Native in Ghana, UK, Ghana. And that is where they believe say ni be imported by UK and will be the man. I would not be surprised if there is a geopolitical connotation, meaning any fact to back it. So I won't push it too much. But that is where I'm thinking from. Rich, Oma contacted lawyers no more for Poba Jumanamano. Oma from reducing the sanction from the 4 years to 18 months. Mudryk entourage now contacted him to try and help the boy. But quickly, Chelsea for a meeting. Now, instead of just one left winger, Chelsea need 2 left wingers. One natural left winger because Jadon Sancho ni onum, Mihailo Mudryk ni onum. Ideally, Anko cry 4 years no benya. 4 years there. It means that this season, next season, 4 more seasons on Mobi. In replacing Jadon Sancho, you need 1 more winger. Chelsea for 2 or 3 days ago, Rebecca Chelsea said they went to speak about Malik Fofana. And then the plan for them is that Chelsea for Frey Papa, your friend is Sebastian Kiel, the president of Dortmund. Kacheni said they want to do a deal for big Gittins in Tentem. Almost a personal deal with Gittins, and then they want to make sure they will push it on with him. Agreement is very close. Any fee around 55 to 60 million. The first one before the Club World Cup, the issue was about the structure. Immediately Chelsea can agree a fee like that, they will get a branch of friend Gittins, and that will be one. Apart from him, Chelsea would have to find a dynamic winger who can play both on the left, on the right, and also centrally. And on the Chelsea for Frey, West Ham for Bishop for branch friend Mohamed Kudus Honsen. The range of the price tag of Mohamed Kudus is between 50 million to 80 million. Chelsea for only pay 2 things. Now, may you sure say what's Mohamed Kudus here? What's your branch friend Morgan Rogers from Aston Villa? Their plan is simple. Kudus and their bench friend Morgan Rogers are very similar profiles and make similar profiles. Only 2 players are. Obeting about as 6. Obeting about as 8. Obetimi abo as a right winger, a left winger, and they have certain characteristics. I'm obo Edanson. Chelsea team no omo ni obi o ball kaya. Nipo obetimi afa ball na free. Na obi akọ nanim. Na Eden so beji ball na free nchem no. Mohamed Kudus and Abratia, your friend Morgan Rogers are two of those players. And Chelsea for now ask questions between 50 to 80 million. These are the players that are possible. Chelsea between the and of course Abratia friend João Pedro. He is the fourth on the list. Our Chelsea Honum also experienced Premier League proving to bring more quality into the team. These are players. That is the plan for Chelsea for now. After saying Mihailo Mudryk in saying 70 PMO and the fact that they have to move on from the young Ukrainian. Yes, Richard.
Very, very sad. Very, very sad.
And
no. See, look at Paul Pogba.
Yeah, unless Paul Pogba now.
Pogba is struggling.
When near Dean.
Even on 18 and 19 months you grow by.
Yeah.
On your team grand sign.
I feel Monaco.
Then you have to team Monaco Biano Crano. And conquer Papa. So how do you have you?
Very, very worried.
And you see, ultimately blame me play and be brave because for you know grand with him.
Yeah.
But I'm running so dear. Say Bianca say we need to know. Fancho acho ne dia acho. But it's so sad. Very, very sad.
Mudryk literally for in the eyes of Ukrainians now. Omun isn't quite Ballon d'Or potential.
But team no boy na one.
And I think that just at the time when Mudryk ever pick, I don't think it's a team now more. Just at the time Mudryk ever pick, still a very young player in terms of growth, that's when these things have come up. And the sad reality of Serich, BBC is here. Club no can just support you, but almost mean you be big. All of a sudden, and now it is a Mudryk in Saint Emabasi. A see and a Chelsea replacement for Mudryk. Up two left wingers, all on chain BBR, they have to move on quickly. And it's a sad reality of this world of industrialization, corporate and business and all of those things now. People want to move on and meet their targets and get the job done. Nobody really cares. Chelsea plan for Mudryk is to get two more wingers, either an Abratia Mohamed Kudus or Morgan Rogers to it. Something that I think that they'll be able to do as the season goes on. Matter said, you go for a break, I say, oh, I didn't go for your deals, Rich. Transfer window officially and we are into the 2nd of August. There's a lot of time and a lot of these sporting directors are taking their time. Barça a very, very good marketing job with our brand friend Nico Williams, and they are going to get him. See, cannot with the top boy, Charlie, especially with the price tag and the fact that the boy is willing to reduce even further. On my position, they've done a brilliant job.
No, Real Madrid, Barcelona.
No, Rich, it is there is a difference with respect to Baby Barcelona as a club. Because I didn't see Nico reducing the salary.
No, it's because now any Barcelona is on greedy. Tama no greedy no. So Bernard, you say it 12, 15 there about me boy. And a wamba. And a Barca see a movie on. Then one castle agent, a contacted Barca said, look. Is it available? You're perceivable. So, this is the situation.
No,
so, to what catch your assumption?
Even at that time,
I know
exactly. Can I say the conversation of the boy even reducing the salaries because but he's still willing to do that. Still, she says, maybe I'm back open me,
yeah.
To the extent I'm still willing to reduce the salary. It tells you the pedigree of the club.
To be honest with you,
that's exactly.
Now, one has all pay you.
I'm not disagreeing with you there.
Okay.
When I can say, Nico na say Barça. Say one penna, one say quality. I think I also penna. Say ene money Mudryk ba Barça na say o say onko shia de kwa. Ebi ade ko kura we ka change and say senior. Me kura me ni adwuma. Because maybe they don't want him.
Yeah.
But in this case, although player and also club also penal. But to the extent that the player also wants to reduce, Rich, I think that they are doing a very good job with him, and we'll see how Nico will pan out. And I know that this one it will drag in the 1 month. into the transfer window and see how Barca will probably do a deal for Saga friend Nico Williams. And we'll see. Barca for want to say Trent Alexander-Arnold the right how they are, then definitely on person Nico Bantem. Now of course then we'll see how things will go on from there. Rich. And now we had some good news, especially for more yearly cash outs now. Or your picks near the two John and we have some games for you. I think the winning call offerings are clear off from the board. Intimate tries match on Mabobama. First one a 200-1A 899. Second one a 200-1A 520. Third one a 200-26-1EC, and the last one no a 200-1A106. Radio Auto Green say go your codes no on your side my beam and anyway. Thank you.
Okay. Kofi, that's it. Enjoy the so 104.5. That's the edition.